welcome back to my channel. My name's Dawn, I'm the Reclusive Crafter. First thing I'd like to do is wish you all a very happy new year. We're now into 2026. Today is the 3rd of January and I thought I would start the year on getting organised and sorting things out and trying to get a little bit of sensibility, I guess, into my life. So what I want to do is sort out all my ephemera bits and pieces, and I have today is Stashbusting Saturday. I have lots of different bits and pieces in my stash, and I have got this. For those of you that have ever banked with Barclays, I used to many years ago, and I was given this folder, which is quite a robust thing. It's quite chunky, and the inserts have got quite heavy duty index cards, and then the pages themselves, which tell you all about all different things within it, are all the same size. And what I thought I would do is use it as an ephemera book. So I'm going to alter all of this. I'm going to cover these pages into something that I can utilise. I don't really need that. Something that I can utilise and generally just make use of what I've got, really. So today is all about transforming this book into a usable ephemera book. Now, one thing that I have noticed is there's a couple of pockets either side. So there's this transparent one here, very useful for big items, and then in the back as well there's another one here, very useful for big items. So I don't want to get rid of those because they are usable. I do, however, want to cover the outside of the folder. And I'm just wondering if I might be able to do enough of a cover on it without having to like fold it over. So yeah, so I'm going to make a start on this. I hope your new year went really well. I'm actually recording this before New Year, so I'm not quite sure how mine has gone yet, but I'm sure it's lovely. So I've originally cut this sort of bigger than I actually need it, and then I'm going to trim it round afterwards. And yeah, all being well, I thought I'd use Fabri-Tac because that's my go-to for harder materials. And yeah, we'll see where we go from there, really. I'm not quite sure how well this is going to work. So, and I'm going to have to do it a little bit at a time, because the glue is going to probably go off before I get to do the whole lot of it. So I want to do the edge bit first, and we'll see where we go from there. I'm literally just going to do a small section of this at a time, and hopefully it will work. Just want to get plenty of glue down, and then was it that way around it was going? Yeah. So I think I'd like this section as my front. I'm going to bring that up. I think once I get it started, I'm hoping it's going to be relatively simple. It's just getting it started so that it actually sticks to the edge of the folder. I think that's going to be the biggest challenge, is getting it to stick to the edge of the folder without it keep peeling off, and I'm not quite sure how successful that's going to be. I do have a plan B. If this doesn't work, I am going to paint it. I've got some paints that I've had in my stash for so many years, I don't really want to even think about how long they've been in there, to be honest with you. It's got to be 30, 40 years, but I do know that they will still be absolutely fine. And I think they will cover the front or the outside of the folder really well. So if this doesn't work, I'm going to revert to my plan B and see where we go from there. So let's do the next bit. How are we doing? And like I say, I'm just going to do a very small section at a time. And I'm going to do this video in sections for you because this is probably going to take a little while. And honestly, you don't want to be sitting there waiting for me to glue this whole thing down, because I'd imagine it is going to take quite some time. But I think once it's done, it's going to be quite a useful little folio. And this that I'm using, this was just a scrap of, I'm not sure what you call it. It's like the stuff that they use for tablecloth or table protectors. And I picked it up from the range many years ago, and I've had it in my stash ever since. And it's quite heavy duty, so it's got like a fabric backing to it, and then it's got the vinyl on the outside. And again, I've had this in my stash for a long time, and I just thought that it would make quite a nice cover for this particular folder. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video for now, and I'll come back to you once I've got this all stuck down, so bear with me. Okay, so I've covered the folder, and as you can see, it's okay. It's not too bad at all. Considering it's only going to be an ephemera folder, I'm quite happy with it. What I have done is I've reinforced the edges with some of the fabric tape. If you're not familiar with fabric tape, Amanda from Scrimping Mummy uses it all the time with her journals and her hybrid journals, so pop along to her channel and take a look at it. But you can, this one, I don't think this is quite the same as she uses, but it is still very good and it's very strong, and I think I got this one from Amazon. And just so you know the width of it, this one is it's 1 3/4 wide, which is 3.5 centimeters, but I do believe you can get them in different widths as well, depending on what it is you're actually working on. So this is what I've currently ended up with. So I've still got my pockets either side, as you can see, so very happy with that. Got a little bit of glue on there. Let's just take that off. And then I have, as you can see, I've covered the front of it. And as I say, I've reinforced the edges. So what I want to do now is I want to put some dividers in so that I can divide out my ephemera, and these dividers are absolutely perfect. What I don't want is this wording on here, so I'm going to cover those over. And what I've got to do that with, I've chosen this little bit of cardstock, and I have also got, I don't know if you can see it there, but I've just got a oblong frame, and I'm going to do 6, I think. Yeah, I'm going to do 6 frames and cut them out, and then I'm going to stick them onto the index cards. Let me just find my iCarver link. So I'm just using black archival ink to do this with. And hopefully they will come out okay. I'll give it a good ink in, like that. And now it doesn't really matter where I get them on the page, to be honest, because I'm going to be cutting them out anyway. I just want these to act as like little labels to go over the wording there that I don't want, and then I can write whatever I want to on them. There we go. Lovely. Now I need 6 of these because I've got 6 dividers. Not quite sure what's going to go in each divider yet, but we'll worry about that when we get it all finished. And I'll just pop that down there. Give that a good press down. Perfect. Do my third one. And then I'm going to pop this one here. Oh, I'm just going to take off that little bit of ink on there because I don't want it smudging. Got a little bit overzealous there. Take off that little bit of ink there. Oh, got a little bit there as well. I just don't want it smudging on the page and ruining the label. It's worth taking a little bit of time sometimes just to make sure. That's better. Okay, I'm going to pop my third one down. Give that a good press. Try not to lift it when you're pressing because otherwise you'll end up with like a shadow on it and you don't want that. Okay, that's number 3. And then I don't know why I'm being quite so precise, to be honest with you, because these are all being cut out anyway. Just trying to get the most out of my paper. That's that one. Lovely. And then what I'll do is I will cut one out and stick it on just to give you the effect. And then I'll finish it off. I'll finish them off and come back to you again when I'm ready to go on to the next bit. That's nice. This is a nice little frame to work with. Seems to be printing really nicely. And the last one, I'm just going to pop this one down, press it down. Lovely jubbly. Bob's your auntie's uncle. That's that one done. Just going to give that a quick wipe. Okay. Get rid of my ink. Don't need that. And then I'm going to cut one of these out now. Oh, what was that? That was my scissors that just went for Burton. And I'm going to cut these out just with my craft knife. Just for speed more than anything. And sorry if my head's in the shot. And then I'm going to stick it on the page to give you the effect of what I'm looking for. There we go. Okay. I don't know if you can see, that is actually a textured paper, which is quite pretty. And then I'm going to pop that on there. Then that will cover that up, and then I can write whatever I want to on there then. And I'm doing this with all 6 of the dividers, so they're all the same. If I can get my glue out. Come on, glue. There we go. Oh gosh, this is really hard, this one. And I'm using the Fabri-Tac purely because that's actually quite a glossy paper, and I'm not quite sure if my other glues will work terribly well on it, and I just want to make sure that this gets a good purchase. So that's that. I don't have to worry about it. Sorry, bear with me. I just want to make sure that I get this where I want it. I'll pop that on about there, I reckon. Just make sure it's straight. And that's that. So that's what I'm looking to achieve. And I'm going to go ahead and do this now with the other 5, and I'll come back to you again when we've done that. Okay, so I've done the labels. So I've got that one. All the labels are the same, and I've just stuck them over the wordings so that now I can put anything I want to on them. And I've got some lovely dividers there, which I'm very happy with. So that's come out quite nicely. I'm going to pop those in there. There we go. So that's the dividers done. And now what I want to do is I want to put the ephemera inserts in. And my plan for this is going to be a little bit laborious because I've got all of these pages here that were in the portfolio anyway. And this is actually really good quality paper. It's quite thick, as you can see. And all I'm going to do with this is cover it up. Okay, so I've got these. Honestly, I don't like these pages at all. I bought them and I was actually really disappointed with them. So I'm just wondering if, oh, they're a perfect size, aren't they? Will they fold? That would work really well. So, okay, what I am going to do then is I'm going to use these This will be an easy peasy job, lemon squeezy. Let me get my glue page. Okay, so I'm going to, doopy-doopy-doo, where's my glue stick? There it is. Right, I'm gonna glue these down. Glue that on there. Put a goodly amount of glue on. Make sure it all sticks lovely jubbly. There we go. Okay, and then with this folded page, sticky icky, I'm going to, will that work if I pop that? I'll pop it the other way round. If I pop it that way round, hopefully this will work. Like that. Just get my scoochy thing. Just scooch that down. Give that a little bit of a wipe. I don't want it. There we go. Okay. That's that side down. Let's pop this side down. So let me know what you all did for New Year. Did you celebrate it? Were you in bed by 9? How do you celebrate your New Year? I must admit, we don't really celebrate New Year like we used to when we were much younger. We're much more for a quieter life now. Okay, I'm just gonna fold that down. Let's see if this works. Just take off the excess glue on that edge. I'm stuck to the page. Now then, the only thing with these is it is going to make them curl a bit, I do think. So I might need to weight them down a little bit until they've dried. I made that one a bit messy. A bit messy with the glue there. Just keep rubbing until it's dry and hopefully it'll come off. If it doesn't come off, it's not the worst thing in the world. It is only for ephemera. I was a little bit overzealous with the glue, to be fair. There we go, that's come off nicely now. There. Okay, so that's going to be the page. Let me just clip the holes again with my oil clipper. Okay, so just going to clip those holes again. Like that. Okay, now that then will go in here, and that'll be an ephemera page. And then I need to put some little pockets across now. And what I thought I would use for the pockets is I have got this, which is a really good quality tracing paper, and I'm going to cut these down and make pockets for the pages. And I want the pockets to be, so the pockets need to be about 11 centimetres wide. So let me get my cutty bit. So 11 centimetres wide, which is, I'm just going to take it just marginally under the 11 centimetres, just so it doesn't go over the page. Cut that down. I will get quite a lot of pockets out of the one sheet, and then I just need to decide what size I want the pockets really. So I think probably a 5, or maybe I could do that. If I do a 3-inch pocket there, 2.5-inch pocket there, 2-inch pocket there, 3. What was I doing? 3-inch, 2.5, 2, 1.5, and then a 1-inch at the top there. Let's see how that looks. So I said a 3-inch pocket to start with, didn't I? Nice deep pocket to start with. So that would go on there. And then a 2.5. 2.5. I'd need to put a hole through that one, but that's okay. 2.5 there, unless I try and miss those. I wonder if I might be better to try and miss the holder. So I could actually That's a 3, isn't it? So that would work really well there. So I could go 3.5, 3. But then that's limiting my number of pockets, isn't it? Do I want to just put a hole in it? I might just put a hole in it actually, because otherwise I'm going to be limiting the amount of pockets I can have. So that's 3.5, is it? Oh gosh, I've lost track of what I'm doing. That was 3 inches, 2.5. Let's do a 2. 2. So 3, 2.5, 2. Let's do a 1.5. 1.5, and we'll try and squeeze a little 1 in for some itty bitty little bits. There we go. Let's have a look and see if that works. So we've got that one, we've got that one, we've got that one, we've got that one, and we've got that one. Tra-la, that works all rather nicely, doesn't it? So let's stick them down and see how that works. Let me just give my glue a shake. Okay, so I'm gonna, now with these I want to try and keep the glue as, oh, out, my glasses got ripped up in my hair. I want to keep the glue as close to the edge as I can, so that I'm not losing storage space. And I'm using the art glitter glue because it's quite a quick hold and it dries clear, which is perfect for this particular job. Try not to squash it down too much so I don't lose the depth of the pocket. There we go. Just hold that down a little bit. It's wanting to curl. I'm all sticky. Okay. Edges are curling just a little bit. Where's my... That'll do. Let me take this out of here because I'm going to need to punch a hole in one of them. Possibly even 2. Okay, so that's that one. Let's pop this one here. Not sure how this is going to work, but we can but try. This is going to be a little bit of a laborious task, but, and the big but is, once it's done and I've got all my little bits and pieces of ephemera in, it would have been well worth the effort, in my humble opinion. There we go, that's that one. Again, just holding it down because when tracing paper's wet, all it wants to do is curl up. So you just need a little bit of patience with it, just to coax it into place. There we go, that's that one. And now this one. Just leaving a bit of a gap between them so that you can easily get the ephemera in and out. hoping this is going to work okay. And then we want this one here, and then that one there. Yeah, I just want just a little bit at the top there, although these are going to be small pieces. Still need to be able to get them in without them all falling out the top. Okay. The other thing that you could put these on with is double-sided tape. But I do think that might work out quite expensive to do it that way. Whereas with the art glitter glue, you only just need a tiny little bit of it. You don't need an awful lot. It goes a long way. Just going to dab those into place. Like that. That's lovely. This one's a bit of a mess here. I'll have to clean that up in a minute. And then the final little pocket for my little itty bitty bits. Tiny little, oh, I'm sorry, tiny little labels and things this would be ideal for. And splattering my glue. And then just pop that one down there. And like I say, just leaving enough space at the top so that your pieces don't pop out the top. That's that one done. Okay, and now pop the lid on there. Okay, just want to give that a few minutes to dry. There we go. Now you could, I'm obviously going to do the back section as well. You could, if you wanted to, actually sew these if you were very careful and lined them up, or if you just did one side of it perhaps. You could actually sew these if you wanted to, but I'm not a huge fan of sewing, I'm not going to lie. So I'm going to see if the glue will hold it well enough. And if we have to go to a plan B, then we have to go to a plan B. That's no great shakes. Right then, let me just pop these holes out again. That was the little one. Let me do that with the bigger one. So pop that hole out there. Lovely. And pop that hole out there. And that is page 1 of my ephemera book. There we go. Okay, let me show you how that will work. So what have we got? So I've got some butterflies here just as an example. So that's quite a large butterfly, so that potentially would go in there. And then we've got itty bitty butterflies, which would go perhaps in there. And we've got middle-sized butterflies, which could go in there. Medium-sized butterfly in there. And a slightly smaller one in there. And that's it. So at a glance, you can actually see what you've got by way of ephemera. So I'm going to take my time. I'm going to put this all together and I will have an ephemera book to use. So let me know what you think in the comments. I might even put a little bit of washi tape at the bottom of those because I've got lots of washi tape again that I don't use, which I think would be nice. And you can fancy these up as much as you want to, but it was just an idea. I don't know if you've got one of these folders lying around or something like this, but it's just a nice little way of using something up that would have otherwise have gone in the bin. We don't bank with Barclays anymore, so yeah, it's just a really good use of a very old something that's just been lurking around the house for a long time. So I hope you like it. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you all again for Mishmash Monday. Happy New Year, everybody. Take care. Bye.